What happens when you create 3D model with AI? In most of the cases, there are a few things you want to fix or tweak. And what if I say there is AI tool to edit and refine 3D models? Hey guys, this is Steph, and today we're looking on a tool called Modif. Tool that is not only about generating things, but also about refining things. That difficult last step to take so we can actually use models in the production. So the Modif is still in development and they just started the beta, and I had chatted with developers, absolutely amazing guys, creating a really nice product, and they're about to open access in next month, but we'll take a look at it today. Okay, so let's go inside and take a look. So first of all, I truly appreciate the tutorial section. They do have a lot of powerful features and use cases that are not straightforward, so I highly recommend to quick look on the tutorial when you first land here. So we're gonna start with creating our first project. Alright, so already you can see it's a little bit different from many of 3D AI tools. It more focuses on 3D space and working with 3D objects. So let's take a look what we have here. So first we can see the project title, we can rename it, we can get some information, we can share it a bit, but mainly we can see here two modes. The first one goes for object mode and the second one for texture, but to go there we need an object. In the right bottom we can see a reference images menu where we actually can drop our references and do some operations with those references. In the left bottom there is viewport settings, so we can change the camera, we can change the materials, we can change the environment, we can change the color of the environment, and so on. It might be very useful for debugging, and especially material mode might be very useful. We'll take a look at it later. And there is Explorer for objects, because in here we can work with multiple objects simultaneously. And at the very bottom center there are some controls for rotating, scaling, and moving objects. And what I really like is that there is undo redo function, because for example in Tripo I really missed it. It is must-have feature. Okay, so let's go through basic flow. Let's create something. So first let's import our reference image. It will add a reference image here and we'll start creating 3D object right away. The cool thing is that we can actually go and continue working, and we can even move this box where the model soon will appear. But while this is creating, let's take a look on the image and what we can do. The first thing I really like that there is edit button, and we can easily remove background, like almost instantly, and save it. And I will prefer to create 3D objects from this. And how to do that, like we press on these three dots, create a new object from image, less details or more details. But as we already created 3D object, let's see what else we can do here. And one of the cool thing is that there's create variations, which work similar to flux context or any editing image models that can create variation. Add it here and you can create a 3D model right away. Let's change neon to green light. All right, and press generate. All right, here we go. And if we do like the result, we can press add as new reference image, go back. What I want to do is also press edit and remove the background. It works really nice. Save. And from this image, let's create less detail and let's create more detail. And we can actually compare, and this thing happens simultaneously. While this happens, I can move to this object. I can press like that, focus, and I can do some stuff here. So this is really cool that I don't need to wait while something will happen. Okay, so one of the model is already created. What we can do is now jump into texture. So let's see what they offer here. So first of all, I really like how it is organized. We do have a new menu called generate. There is a single or multi-view. And from the right side, we can see material settings, segments, or layers. But first of all, we need to create a base texture, so we need layers only. So single texture is to create a projection and we can paint on top, and multi-view is to create a full texture from all sides. So let's press multi-view, select a reference and generate, and here we go. So we can see a texture and it's not that bad, but it definitely needs refinement, and we'll see how to do it. And we can see some grade areas inside. Now guys, while this tool is still in beta, Mr. Mark got 30 early access keys that we're ready to share right away. The only thing you need to do is subscribe and drop a comment on this video and send your YouTube nickname in my Discord, and we'll send you that early access key and you can start using it today absolutely for free. So this is an interesting thing that here you can actually see what areas AI can see and what areas are covered by the view, right? So normally texture is projected from 6 views and usually AI will just cover that. So we can also do that. We need to navigate to layers and press this fill missing areas with some approximate texture. But result will be far from perfect, and this still happens with many AI out there. Some areas like folds and so on. But in some cases it works, so you can keep it or you can undo it and you can do that manually. Now let's go back to scene and select our highly detailed model and try another texturing approach. So we'll go in texturing mode again. For the base, let's choose our original image and let's generate the base. All right, here we go. And what we're gonna do next, instead of filling the missing areas, we're gonna paint it manually. And this is very, very easy to do. We'll switch to single. We'll actually set a view, for example, like this. I want to start filling these areas first. And what I'm gonna do is select the reference image and I will press generate image. All right, so the image is created. In order to paint on top, I need to go to Inpaint, select patch, and in the layer menu I need to add a new layer. This is very close to Photoshop, right? So we can disable layers and this is very convenient. So when we create a new layer, we can actually paint on top and it will actually project what we have here. We can also upscale it if we do want to transfer some small details. But I'm not happy with this area, it still looks broken. So what I can do is I can go into paint, which is just a simple brush. I will go to color. I will choose a color. Let's pick this color and I will paint it in this color just to give AI the idea of what color I'm expecting. So let's paint it a little bit like that. I think I want darker color inside like this. And I'll go into Inpaint, and there is an amazing thing called select for Inpainting. So basically marking an area that I want it to focus on, right? I will mask everything that I'm not happy with in this area. Okay, now when it's done, let's add a prompt. Let's try to make it black leather. And let's press generate. All right, now the result is way, way, way better, right? And I can actually start in painting. I will need to choose the patch similar as before. Here we go. Well, this looks way, way better. Wow. The one thing we need to note that it is still projection painting, so we cannot expect to paint all the angles, but that's very easy. We'll paint what we can see from this angle, right, this area. And if I paint too much here, you can see it actually catches like the white, which is like the background. I just Ctrl Z, I don't need it. We'll paint this angle first. All right, now let's rotate it, press generate again, wait a little bit. Additionally, we can also upscale it if we need it. All right, and now we can paint this side. All right, here we go, and I'm almost done. Well, I mean, amazing. Look how better it is from the original one. So there is like one part still missing. It's not a problem. We can generate it again and so on. We can even zoom as close as this, generate image, fix some areas, and that's it. To remove this mask, we can press this button and we'll remove it and we can review the result. And I would say this is absolutely amazing. Following this logic, we can actually go through the whole model, and this is really quick and convenient. We can fix any artifacts we want. We can always fill missing areas by pressing this button and then go over again and then go fix on top. We can paint with different colors using paint. It's just a simple brush. So we can do like that. And if we are using brush, we can use eraser, right? So it basically will erase this layer. And don't forget that you're working with layers. You can add as many layers as you need. And for example, we can easily compare how it was before. So for example, we can turn off both the layers and we can see where we started. And then we can add this layer, right? And you can see that it's way, way better, right? Boom. Okay, but one more thing you can do is you can actually load your own GLB created elsewhere and do any of these operations. So let's try to do that. To import your GLB or FBX or OBJ, you go here, press new object, and let's select my Polaroid model I created in one of my previous video. Let's rotate it a little bit, move it a little bit. Okay. Now what I want to show you is that here is the texture is absolutely broken. And one cool thing we can do is inpaint based on reference image. So to do that, we go into texture mode, we'll select the base texture, but we can actually create new layer. We go to the single image and I will add an image of a Polaroid logo. And what I want to do is to put a logo or a text here in some way. Let's try to do that. I will mask this area like this. I can actually zoom in a little bit. Here you can control the brush size. Just press on it and like move your mouse like up and bottom. Okay, let's mask the area. And now I will ask it to add Polaroid logo and let's press generate the image. Okay, so here we go. There's a Polaroid text and it looks very accurate and good. The only thing is rainbow is missing, but you can try to generate it a few more times and it might create a rainbow. So far I actually like it. The text is very centered, so let's try to patch it and put it here. Here we go. Right, so as easy as it can be, we just updated the model and this is the correct text and it looks so good. And what I know, currently it works on Stable Diffusion and Flux dev models, but soon they will actually replace it with Gwen editing or Flux context, and this tool will be even better with transferring any text to logos and some stuff. But even right now, this is actually very good. I spent 1 minute to get this result. Okay, now let's talk about segmentation and materials and how we can use it. So segmentation is this menu which can actually split your model in some areas which you can use to set different materials, generate texture, or even use for exporting. So to do that, we need to go to edit segment and we need to add a new segment, and now we can set a color and we can actually paint a segment. So for example, I can segment this area and call it like a segment number 1, and I can add a new segment, select it, change the color to pink, and I can paint a new area. And that's how segmentation works. Now here's how you can practically use it for set different materials. Let's add a new segment and I want to paint the lens. I will paint it like this. Now I can open material settings. And the only thing I need to do is go to viewport and change it to PBR. I can hide the segment while it's still selected. I can change roughness and metallic settings here, and you can see it actually became very, very reflective. And we can change the environment. Additionally, I can paint it a little bit gray so the reflection is more visible. Okay, like this. And now this part is actually very reflective. And I can add additional segment, choose this one, go to segment again, paint some area. And let's say this area, I want it to be absolutely non-reflective. Let's mark it, go in this area. Okay, hide it again. And here I can select, I want to select it to 0 metalness and roughness into 1, and it is absolutely non-reflective. Or I can actually add metallic and I can also make it reflective. You can see like it looks like gold because it's orange, right? And this is extremely useful to refine generated in latest Repo V3, where PBR might go a little bit wild, and here you can easily adjust it with segments. Moreover, while in texture mode, you can export it. You can go to export and you can export texture or a segment map, color ID, which will look like that and might be very useful in engines like Blender, Unreal Engine, Unity, and so on. Okay, and that's not only it. You can also optimize models, and to do that, we need to go back to object mode, and for example, we select these headphones that we're happy with. We can press distro dots and press simplify, and here we can select either custom amount of polygons we want, or we can select and optimize it to 20, 10K trees, and so on, and it will actually create an optimized version, and it was really, really fast. It took just 10 seconds to create this version. In viewport, we can also change mode to wireframe if we want to examine the net, so you can see how it looks here. There's also flat color mode that helps to work with texture. And when we are done with the model, we can select it and we can actually export it. So far they offer like GLB, OBJ, and STL formats, but again, don't forget that if you are in texture mode, you can export texture image and segment map as well. And in texture mode, there is also a turntable video that we can export. So if we press it, in no time you will have a video like this. And if that's not enough, you can also easily share your project with friends or your community by pressing this button share. You can enable a public link and you'll get a link that you can open from anywhere. Or if someone do have access to Modif, they can clone your project and continue editing, which is absolutely amazing. And we're gonna round up the video. But guys, there is much more here, and developers are about to release some amazing features like geometry upscale, like geometry Inpainting, which is very unique thing based on the very new workflow, and they're about to release it in next months. Don't miss it. So you will be able not only inpaint texture but geometry as well. This is something definitely worth looking at and might save you a lot of time. So don't forget to subscribe and like, and see you in the next videos.